between Louisiana Tech and the Penn State Nittany Lions. And welcome back here to Beaver Stadium, State College, Pennsylvania, Big Ten football. Louisiana Tech and Penn State. More than 90,000 here on this Saturday afternoon. And what a day it is. 78 degrees, humidity in the middle there at 64%, and partly sunny.
Yeah, I tell you what, you look at the stadium, you can see the crane back there. They're really doing a lot of work on the stadium to make it even bigger than before. It's 90,000 plus now, but I think they're going to stretch it up to over 100,000.
105,000 when all of the addition is ready for next season. Well, Joe Paterno puts his team out on the field today. They will receive the opening kickoff as Louisiana Tech won the toss and deferred till the second half. So Coach Paterno.
Well, you look at Joe, he's intense as always, and that made him successful. That's why he's won over 300 plus games in college football over 30 plus years. But, as intense as he is, he wants the kids to relax and have fun. Just relax and let things come to them naturally. And it's going to start right here on the offensive end. They're going to get the ball. This is their most problematic area right now, and they need to make some plays offense early.
They're going to send Larry Johnson, Kenny Watson deep to receive. The kick comes from Josh Scobie. Scobie's kick hits into the end zone, and touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line to set up Penn State's first possession. Of course, you look at the offensive numbers, Al, and Penn State only 11 points scored in the first two games. I think they certainly would like to get something established very early in this football game.
No question about it. They just need to relax. And here's the first series for them right here. We'll see how the receivers and the backs and the line respond.
Rashard Casey at quarterback. Bryant Johnson, number 7, one of the wideouts to the right. Casey with the fake. He's going to go down, and he is sacked inside the 10-yard line. Coming up there to make the play and the sack by number 5 for Louisiana Tech. And so right off the bat, a big defensive play. Starting for Penn State today at quarterback, Rashard Casey. In the backfield, Eric McCoo and Mike Saramelli, the senior fullback. Tony Stewart at tight end, Sam Crenshaw at flanker, and Rod Perry out of San Diego, California at the other receiving position. Bell, Caruso, Hardings, Mitchell up front. And right away, Penn State is in a hole on second down and long. Hand off for a little bit up over the 10-yard line. Not a lot more than that, out to about the 12, maybe the 13. Curtis Randall, number 5 on the stop. Thomas, Clark, Nichols, Bradbury. That's your front four, and it's a young front line for Louisiana Tech. Some experience in the linebacking corps, Stewart, Wallace, and Bradford. And then the secondary, Pernetter, Michael J. Leonard, Gray, and Jason Olford. Gain of 2. It is third down, Penn State. Casey out of the pocket, drops the ball, fumble. Who's got it? Louisiana Tech. That's at the 14-yard line.
That's the worst start you could possibly have for Penn State offensively. As you can see, Casey just drops back, stays in the pocket. He was looking for Kenny Watson, number 22. But he shoots in there as Willie Shepard, the reserve defensive back. He comes on a blitz. And see what Louisiana State wants to do. They want to pocket, keep Rashard Casey in the pocket. They're blitzing from people from the outside. And he didn't see that guy coming up. So they're deep in their own territory. Penn State, this is not the way you want to start off for an offense.
Clint Ellsworth made the recovery for Louisiana Tech. Ball's at the 14. And right away, the Nittany Lion defense backed into a hole after the turnover. And they go on the round, next step to about the 11-yard line. John Simon, the lone running back, moving the football. Louisiana Tech with Brian Stallworth at quarterback. Simon, the only running back in their sets. They'll have 5 wideouts. They'll really put the receivers out there. Newman, the tight end. Jordan, Ali, Dager. And then on the line, Sykes, Hewlett, Murph, Bro, and Laverne. It's second down. from the shotgun. Stallworth throws incomplete. That was Jordan, 83. The defense for Penn State. And a lot of changes from a year ago, of course. Jones, Adams, Jimmy Kennedy, Sturdivant, Graham, and Finney, a new core of linebackers from a year ago. Branch, Pettigrew, Boyd, and Beaujeu. That's the defensive secondary. It is third down. Stallworth looks for the end zone. Got his man. Sean Calangelosi.
I tell you what, Cangelosi, they did this with him 2 weeks ago against Mississippi Valley State. They love him in this situation. He's a big, tall receiver. He's 6'4", 214, and he just runs out to the flag there, out in the flat, and Stallworth does a nice job of lofting the ball over the 2 defenders there. Easy touchdown. And he had 2 defenders on him.
He's a big, lanky receiver, Calangelosi. It's 6'4". The extra point drilled through the uprights. 12:46 to go. We've played less than 3 minutes, and Louisiana Tech is leading Penn State. It's 7-0. In every game this season, and today they've now gone down 7-0 to Louisiana Tech early.
And you see the motion there, which is Penn State coaches were worried about. That forces the corner to come up just for a second. Bruce Branch, and he lets Cangelosi get behind him. He had a guy covering James Jordan out in the flat, and he just kind of had a brain cramp there and forgot that Cangelosi was coming up behind him. It was an easy touchdown.
44 seconds. That's all the drive consumed. Set up by the fumble recovery. This is Larry Johnson, number 5, looks for daylight, got some room. Pass midfield. Great return by number 5, Larry Johnson, the sophomore from here in State College. 65 yards on the kick return.
Larry Johnson, as most Penn State fans know, he caught a lot of flack this week about questioning Joe's strategy as far as offensively. But here he comes. He knows he has to make some plays here, and he has great running skills. And he got to the outside there and just turned on the speed. And he knew he had to make some plays. They have to make some plays in other areas to get him good field position. And he started them off well on the second possession.
Puts it at the 35 of Louisiana Tech. Larry Johnson may light a spark here for Penn State. On the ground, big hole. Down near the 10-yard line, that's Eric McCoo. McCoo, the junior from Red Bank, New Jersey, 24 yards on the carry.
The much-maligned Penn State offensive line, they've had a lot of changes in there during the year. I think 8 to 10 different people. Watch this big hole there for McCoo. Just fine blocking up the middle, and there was no one there, at least 10 to 12 yards to even touch him. And that's the type of thing that Penn State needs to get some good confidence for their offense.
They're splitting Bryant Johnson, number 7, to the bottom of your screen. And they got a couple of penalty markers down.
Well, the tight end Tony Stewart looked like he jumped on that play. Tony Stewart is the leading receiver for Penn State so far, and he has to be more disciplined.
Here's our referee, Steve Newman.
Prior to the snap, false start. On the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's the old expression, you have to hold your water. You get excited and you want to make a play, and sometimes you have that middle breakdown.
It's back on the 16, second. McCoo slashes inside the 15, maybe to the 13.
Quincy Stewart there, the outside linebacker, came up. You have to remember, Louisiana Tech, they have small people. I mean, their linebackers, Bradford and Quincy Stewart, are only 212 pounds, so they're more like strong safeties playing linebacker. So they have a lot of quick speed, and if you're Penn State, I think you want to mash them and smash them, put a lot of physical pressure on them instead of trying to get them in a speed game, because they're going to win that if you try to go out in the open.
Second and 13. They get to the 1 for a first down. Handoff, McCoo drives to the 5. Eric McCoo, who had 20 net yards rushing in the first couple of games.
Well, this is a good way for Penn State to get out here. They only had 36 yards rushing in the first 2 games, and they almost have this right in this series, 30-some-odd yard rushing. And you watch McCoo to the right of your screen. You see the double down. Nice block there by Cermelli, 36. He got a nice cut down block there on one of the defensive backs at Spring McCoo, and that was a nice run and spin by McCoo.
3rd and 5, touchdown. Penn State through the air. Rashard Casey to Eric McCoo. Comes about a minute and a half on the game clock after the Louisiana Tech score.
I think Penn State just used a little bit of Louisiana Tech's offense on them. They flanked McCoo out there wide, like a wide receiver, and Louisiana Tech didn't have him covered up. Obviously a mental blown coverage there by the secondary. He was wide open out there. Was no one there at all. No one lined up on him. As you can see, Jack McNell there, he looked pretty frustrated about that.
Primanti, Ryan Primanti, number 29 for the point after. It's up and good, and we have a tie game. 11:08 in the first quarter. Penn State 7, Louisiana Tech 7. We played less than 5 minutes, less than 4 minutes in the first quarter. 7-7. Tech and Penn State each have scored a touchdown.
Well, you look at here, Penn State didn't want Louisiana Tech to get settled up, so they do a quick 3-step drop by Casey, and no one could get out there in time. They didn't even see the formation lined up out there for McCoo.
Kick goes out of the end zone. And there will be no return. A touchback. The Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech will take over. Penn State scoring drive, just 4 plays, took 1:22 to cover 35 yards. McCoo scores on the 5-yard run, but it was all set up by the 65-yard touchdown return from Larry Johnson.
Well, you know, Larry Johnson, as we shared before, he had some pressure on to make some plays, and he came out and without a shadow of doubt came out there and put some pressure and got the team excited. Let's see if they relax and play some ball.
5 wideouts in this set. Stallworth, the quarterback, takes the snap. Cangelosi makes the reception and makes about 6 yards out of it. 81, Sean Calangelosi, who caught the touchdown pass. Run out of bounds by Derek Tolles, number 2.
Well, what you can see on that block, Delwyn Degg right there, number 9. Watch this block here that he puts on Boju. Gets him right down at his feet and springs Cangelosi for a nice run.
And 2nd and 4. They move Simon, number 8. And hand off to him up the middle. He's got a little bit of room, but he's going to be stopped short of the 30 and short of a first down. James Boyd, number 6, the leading tackler for the Nittany Lions, came up to make the stop on Simon.
James Boyd had a career-high 16 tackles last week versus Toledo. Now, although you want your safety to be a good tackler, you don't want him to have 16 attempts. That means guys up front aren't doing the job like you like them to.
3rd down 1, no huddle, Louisiana Tech from the 29. And the defense of Penn State, I think, stopped him. He was trying to claw his way up to the 30, but I don't think. We'll see how they spot the ball.
Well, Louisiana style, they like going no huddle, but it backfired on them this time. This is not really their strength, running the football. And Addison comes up there, but a fine play by Adams. Number 98, he had that big package sitting up there and really hit Addison very well. And see, that's not really their strength, the running game. And it's interesting that they went that way, but maybe they're trying to catch Penn State off guard.
37, Dustin Upton. He's had a 58-yard punt. He is a freshman from Longview, Texas. Rod Perry stands as the lone back to return this punt short, high. Going to hit around the 40. And Penn State will have pretty good field position at their own 45-yard line after the punt from Dustin Upton. 9:30 on the clock in the first quarter. Joe Paterno's team scoring a touchdown to tie Louisiana Tech. There was 27 yards and no return on that punt.
Well, you have to have a lot more confidence now. You're Penn State. You got an early score. It just seemed like it was hard to do any scoring at all. Now all of a sudden, early in the game, they have a touchdown. They have some confidence. Quarterback's throwing the TD.
On the handoff, McCoo spinning and driving for the first down over the Louisiana Tech 45-yard line. 11 yards on the carry by McCoo.
What a run by McCoo there. Some nice spin moves. Now watch McCoo. Nice blocking by the line there. Another good lead block. But watch that spin right there. And comes back another way. I mean, this guy, he has some great running skills. They need to get him out there more and open one-on-one with the defensive backs.
McCoo has carried 5 times now for 48 yards. Here's another run. This one comes to Omar Easy, number 34. He picks up about 8, 9, 10 yards.
Ooh, I'll tell you what, it wasn't very easy for that defensive back to tackle Omar Easy. Excuse the pun there. But boy, does he come with a wallop. He's 6'1", 246 pounds. Joe says he's the best athlete on the team. He says he's a better athlete than LeVar Arrington, which is hard to believe.
246 pounds and 5.8% body fat on Omar Easy. He gets the call again, got the first down. Out near the 32 of Louisiana Tech. So it's the running game. They're pounding it down the field between McCoo and now Omar Easy.
Well, you have to like what the line. You have Matt Smith there as a replacement at center who made a good block, pancake the guy right there. And you just have to like what they're doing up front. He replaced Francis Spano, who temporarily left the team.
Tie game here, 8:23 at Beaver Stadium. Penn State looking for its first win of the season. 0-2 coming in, 1-1 for Louisiana Tech, and they saw that one right from the start.
Well, that's what you call sending the kitchen sink. But he got hit by 3 guys before he took more than 2 steps.
Bates and Bradford stood him up. David Sullivan and Al Harris with you here in Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley as Penn State and Louisiana Tech are 7-7 in the first quarter of play. The 2 touchdowns were scored in the first 4 minutes of the quarter. This is second down. About 11. McCoo, as the Louisiana Tech defense now led by Mondell Bates, one of the linebackers, a junior college transfer, starting to shut down the run on the last 2.
Yes, they are. Now they got him in 3rd and long. And Penn State, you know, they wanted to control the clock. They want to keep that explosive Louisiana Tech offense off the field. Now they have 3rd and long, and they've had a lot of problems in the passing game, as we know, as you see Jack Bicknell exhorting his defense to make a play here. The important thing is, you know, they still can be within field goal range here if they make a nice play. They can't have a turnover at this point or a sack.
And they're looking at 3rd and 12 on the 34 of Louisiana Tech. Casey, pass out of the reach of number 7, Bryant Johnson, sophomore from Baltimore. Johnson could not make the catch, and now 4th down for the Nittany Lions.
Well, Louisiana Tech, they sent some guys on the blitz to stop that running game. They know that they can't match up one-on-one with Penn State if they just put man on man. So they have to send some extra people. That's why you have to make some plays in the passing game.
David Royer, who's averaging 40 yards, has a 51-yarder for his long to punt for Penn State. Tries to place it inside the 5, and it got it down at the 3-yard line. The special teams play today so far has been excellent for Penn State.
That's a nice pump by Royer there. He just hung that ball up there. Allowed the guys get underneath to make a nice catch.
We'll be back. You're watching Big Ten football. More after this. Penn State and Louisiana Tech 7-7. Louisiana Tech first down at the 3-yard line. The worst field position for either team today. Fumble. Penn State's got it. Penn State goes into the end zone with a touchdown. Kirpakis was in there to make the hit.
Justin Kirpakis He's the senior, he's the leader, and he came on there, just shot through the gap there and made a play. And that's one of the things you want to have the team box deep down there. But he's their leader. He's their best defensive player. Watch him come from the right of the screen. 37, makes a nice strip on the ball, and it's picked up by Boyd, who is their leading tackler and probably their best secondary player. So those are the kind of things, that's how you get quick scores. They had a quick score off a kick, kick return set them up for one, and now they have one off of a turnover. So you have to find different ways to score to get some confidence. It's their first defensive touchdown of the season.
And Boyd gets it. And dubious honor for Louisiana Tech. They're #1 in the NCAA at this early stage of the season in turnovers. That's their 9th and now the 3rd game. Ryan Permanti. Extra point. And for the first time, Penn State's got the lead.
Now watch Karpinkas there. He's at the right of your screen. It's like twist, what they call old tackle twist. He strips Simon of the ball, who's really more like a receiver in the backfield, and you got to learn how to take care of that football or things like that will happen. Now remember, Simon is the kind of guy, I think you actually would want Addison back there, but that happens in there. You have that play. James Boyd has been a playmaker for him so far, and he's done it for Penn State again. Caught that off the bounce, too.
When you got an offense that's been struggling and the defense can come in and produce a TD as they did so often a year ago.
Well, you see they're 5th in the nation on defensive touchdowns last year. Louisiana Tech this year leads the nation in turnovers, and that's what cost them last week. They had 5 turnovers last week, and that was the one thing Jack Bicknell talked about. He didn't want turnovers, and this is the thing that's been hurting them over and over again.
That cost them the lead, as Penn State now leads it 14-7. Each team with 1 turnover. Of course, the Penn State turnover led to the Louisiana Tech touchdown. They're not going to come out of there with it. They'll down it. Terrence Jefferson. So the touchback out to the 20.
Well, it's going to be interesting seeing how Louisiana Tech reacts to this. They got it handed to them pretty well by a tough team last week. Kansas State, a well-ranked team. They're here before 90+ thousand people. They're going to be screaming bloody murder here to try to get their team to make some plays. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they react. If the noise level is going to be up, the defense is going to be charged up. They made a big turnover.
Well, scoring early, they were trying, of course, to get a jump on Penn State, maybe pull the crowd out of it, but now that's all turned around. 2 straight unanswered touchdowns by Penn State. And a big defensive play in the flat, nothing doing on that play. They threw it out there to Jordan, and he was hit by Bruce Branch.
You have to remember, Tom Bradley, who's the first-year defensive coach, has done a good job of game planning here. They're just waiting there for Jordan to come out there. He likes running what he calls that bubble screen, where the receivers block up and he shoots around there real quick, and they did a good job.
2nd down and 12 from the 18. 5:57 in the first quarter. Stallworth looks, got Colangelosi, and the ball pops loose around the 30-yard line. And jumping on it is Shamar Finney, number 21 for Penn State.
You know what? Penn State is trying to find other ways to win the ball game. And this is the 2nd time we've seen a strip over a turnover. Shamar Finney, who's actually a linebacker. There was good protection, as you're going to see here. He had plenty of time to throw, but Shamar Finney's actually a linebacker who's covering a receiver, a big receiver there, and he strips that ball. You see him come with that right hand. He stripped it out there for Cangelosi. This is one thing we talked about with the defensive coach of Penn State that they were going to do.
And turnovers are starting to really cost Louisiana Tech, especially if Penn State can go in for a 3rd straight touchdown. McCoo, number 8. Jack Bicknell trying to calm things down a bit. There's a flag down back at the 45 or 35-yard line. And it's going to go on Penn State.
It's like a personal foul.
Well, Louisiana Tech needs something to the momentum is really switched over to Penn State.
Well, we talked about that with Tom Bradley. He talked about the possibility of having a linebacker on their inside slot receivers because they're so big and they want a better matchup. And, you know, Finney could run with Cangelosi, so they had him on there and he made a nice strip. But you can't have this kind of play happen right after you have a big turnover.
After the play was over, personal foul on the offense. Be second down.
So that moves Penn State to the 41. And it's second in a long way, 22. They got to get to just about the 18-yard line for a first down.
Well, interesting thing here, they have Kenny Watson, who was a receiver last year. They have him in the slot, so watch him.
McCoo with room. Eric McCoo, touchdown Penn State. That's the third unanswered touchdown by the Nittany Lions. 41-yard run by McCoo.
You know what? I've been out of football for a while. I've gained quite a bit of weight, but I think I could have ran through that hole. There was some great blocking by Gus Fiedler and Mike Sermonelli, the fullback on that. That was like you could drive a truck through that hole. Watch 36 Sermonelli and Fiedler 72. Watch them wall off right there. And it's just off to the races there. Easy touchdown.
So McCoo getting his second touchdown. Has got 88 yards on 7 carries. On the point after, throwing into the end zone for 2, and it's incomplete. So we'll stand 20-7.
Ooh, you don't like those things happening, especially with a high-scoring team such as Louisiana Tech. But you have to feel good about Penn, you know, as far as Penn State is concerned. Here you get big runs on kickoff returns. You have 2 strips. You have a big long run on a touchdown run there. So they have big plays. They needed that.
Well, they've scored more points in the first quarter, Penn State, than they had in the previous 2 games combined.
Oh, yeah. And see, they're doing the right thing because they realize their power can overwhelm that smallest defense for Louisiana Tech. And they're doing that right now. You see Jack McNell, he's trying to get those guys going, try to keep their heads in the game, not to drop his head, not for the team to drop their head. And Joe, he doesn't look like he's pleased, but he has to be pleased right now.
It's been last season early on since Penn State has scored 21 points or 20 points in a quarter. They've gotten 3 touchdowns and missed the conversion.
Eric McCoo, he's made some great runs today. We saw early spin moves he's had. And, you know, it looks like obviously they needed that big play. Larry Johnson, you talk about they had that real slow start, Dave, when Rashard Casey got sacked back there. But now they've turned it on.
The numbers on McCoo, he's almost got 100 yards in the first quarter. We got 5.5 minutes to go in this quarter. Here's the return. And Louisiana Tech gets it out over the 25-yard line. And that's where the Bulldogs have put it in play. John Simon returning that kick, number 8. A 23-yard return by Simon.
I'll tell you what, Penn State was very fortunate Simon didn't hand off that ball for that reverse guy because there was no one out there. He would have went for 6.
He had all kinds of open room. Well, let's see what Stallworth can do. He's got the Bulldogs up here without a running back in the set. 5 receivers split, 3 to the bottom of your screen, 2 to the top. A typical set for this Louisiana Tech team that led the country in offense last year. And they completed up over the 30. On the coverage was Bruce Branch for Penn State.
That's what they need, a nice safe pass there for Stallworth to get some confidence in their offense. See, Dagg is trying to get these guys going, say, hey, we're still right in this game. We can explode just as quickly as Penn State.
Dagg came into the game with 11 catches and a touchdown on the season. Stallworth's numbers, 5 out of 6, 31 yards. Swing pass, nothing there. Nicely played by Bo Jew.
You know what? One thing that Penn State defensive backs have been known for over the years is good tackling. Bo Jew came up there, and that's what you have to do. When you get in that open space one-on-one with the receiver, that's what they're looking to do, to try to break you down to make a play. But Bo Jew came up there and made a fine tackle.
Bo Jew, they say he's from Chantilly, Virginia, but he's a native of Liberia. That was a loss of 3, 3rd down 7. In the last 4 minutes of the opening quarter. Stallworth tipped and incomplete.
Boy, oh boy.
Stallworth had 4 picked off last week by Kansas State.
I bet you the receiver's going to be talking about, get that ball in front of you. Almost got me killed on that play. James Boyd really delivered a blow.
Well, after 4 interceptions last week, we asked Bicknell if he was concerned at all about the confidence level of Stallworth, and he said he was not.
Well, you know, Stallworth, he's been in some big games where we talked about with Alabama. He can make those type of plays. He just needs to relax now.
Rod Perry to receive the punt. Perry standing on the Nittany Lion 30-yard line. Dustin Upton blocked and picked up at the 30 or the 27-yard line. That's where Penn State will get it. Omar Easy was in there to block it and come down with it.
We talked about, the coaches talked about Omar Easy being the best, possibly the best athlete, even better than LeVar Arrington. He does a LeVar Arrington type play here, comes right up the middle and partially blocks the punt. Watch him come right up the middle using that speed. He runs a 4.40. He's a great athlete, and those are plays they need to shorten that field for him.
And they go right back to McCoo. McCoo is closing in on 100 yards in the first quarter on the ground. Picks up yardage inside the 20.
You can't say enough about Michael Caramelli, number 36. He's just been mowing some guys down like a lawnmower over grass. I mean, he's been making some really nice blocks. Just cutting guys down, giving McCoo some good running room.
Caramelli's been rated as possibly the strongest player on the team. He was a powerlifting champion in the state of Pennsylvania in 94, 95. And he's a good blocker. McCoo, first down. Closing in on the 17, 18, 16-yard line as McCoo picks up more yardage, and he was hit by Bobby Gray, number 19.
You know, it's funny. We were here last year when they did the Akron game, and McCoo had a really good game there. And you know, you always wonder about Penn State's running game, who's the running back. And every time we come here, he seems to be the guy that steps up.
Well, McCoo, when they need a running attack, has come to the forefront. And also, there's been a lot of change in the offensive line for Penn State throughout this season. Here's McCoo again, outside this time, down around the 12 when he's wrestled out of bounds. Other Big Ten games going on today. Indiana's leading NC State in the first quarter 14-0. And Michigan State, ranked number 23, has scored in the first quarter on Marshall. And right here, it's Penn State 20 and Louisiana Tech 7. Second down. Nittany Lions threatening to get their 4th touchdown of the first quarter. McCoo has run for 105 yards on 10 carries.
Oh, nice play.
Tripped up, and he comes down, I think.
Quincy Miles. Nice play.
Quincy Miles, number 91, sophomore out of Shreveport.
Watch Quincy Miles, number 91. He's got someone blocking him, but he still gets his hand up there and trips up easy. Nice penetration.
Miles at 6'2", 291. You see the WAC logo? They join the WAC Louisiana Tech next season. Rashard Casey looks to the end zone. Man's there. Touchdown. Tony Stewart, number 89, the tight end.
He's their leading receiver. He has 14.5-yard average, but he's a big receiver. The nice thing you liked about this, Rashard Casey, when you get that play action, after having a good running game, Dave. When you have a good running game, guys bite on it, and that gave him some extra time. You didn't see guys flying up in his face right away, and that allowed him to make a good pass. And good catch by Tony Stewart.
His 7th reception of the year. His first touchdown. Now for the point after. And this one is perfect. And Penn State has scored 4 unanswered touchdowns after Louisiana Tech scored in the first minute and a half of the game. It is now 27-7 Penn State. The Nittany Lions 27 unanswered points.
Now watch, when you get that running game going, play action, make somebody hold up. They had a blitz, and they got the guys down. He takes his time, nice loft into Stewart. Watch him, takes his time, just leads him out there nice and easy. You don't have to throw a bullet pass, let him run underneath it. See, when you get the running game going, it makes the quarterback a lot more comfortable, it makes it easier for the receivers. But they're making plays defensively has helped make a short field offensively.
Paterno.
It's Fran Gann.
Fran Gann. Gander, the offensive coordinator, and Rashard Casey. They've been answering an awful lot of questions for the last couple of weeks about this offense, and now 27 points, bam, first quarter of this one.
Well, you know, Rashard Casey has to have a lot of confidence now. 2 touchdown passes already. The running game has confidence. You have McCoo ran that long play. The defense has confidence. They've had 2 turnovers that have led to touchdowns, at least 2.
And nothing has been a really long, sustained drive. I mean,
that's what they need to do because they had a hard time. They only had 2 touchdowns first 2 games. They had 27 points already, and it's still in the first quarter.
Well, Louisiana Tech is digging itself a pretty deep hole here. We've got 2:02 to go in the first quarter, and they trail Penn State 27-7.
This is interesting, too. If you think about Louisiana Tech, the receivers are all returning starters. So they have to make some plays, and you got to get young Brian Stallworth to get that ball to the receivers, catch them in the full stride so they can make some big plays down the field.
About 2 minutes left here in the first quarter. 27-7 Penn State. Stallworth intercepted. This one picked off at the 30-yard line by Bo Jew. Bao Jew from his quarterback position comes up and picks it off. That is another interception by Penn State.
Now, Jew just does a great job. He gets inside position on the receiver. Stallworth is eyeballing number 1, and you can't do that. You can't go right over there and look. You have to kind of make that defensive back, you know, wonder a bit. When you start eyeballing, he can time it. Boju made a nice play.
The 27 points by Penn State have come in less than 5 minutes of possession time. Back on the ground. Eric McCoo. Well, they have run McCoo in the first quarter for more than 100 yards.
Well, here we talk about another turnover. Louisiana Tech leads the nation in turnovers, and you can see why right here. They're being too sloppy handling that ball from the quarterback as well as the receivers. And Jack is very upset.
On second down, ball's loose, fumbled, picked up, Louisiana Tech, then it goes out of bounds. Brian Bradford in there to make the play, but Alford is over there to make the recovery.
Well, that's the one thing they've concentrated on the whole game. They set their game plan to make sure they box in Rashard Casey, and they're going to fake a reverse here. Watch Casey fake the reverse, but on the blitz, Bradford comes up behind him. He doesn't see him and strips Casey of the football.
And it's 18. Jason Olford that gets it. So Louisiana Tech now got the ball, gets the ball back. 1:13 in the first quarter. They trail 27-20, or 27-7. Stallworth time down the field, incomplete. Overthrew his receiver.
There's a big reason why he overthrew his receiver. About 320-odd pounds of reason. Jimmy Kennedy came there, number 73. And boy, did he lay a wallop to Stallworth on that play. Oh, my goodness. There's big Jimmy Kennedy. This is a guy they think is going to be a future star here. Boy, did he wallop Stallworth on that play. They had a receiver open. If he doesn't make that play, that might be a touchdown.
And 2nd and 10. And Penn State solved that one quickly.
And who else?
Jimmy Kennedy.
Mr. Jimmy Kennedy. See, that's when you need guys to take up and take over a game. They had the LeVar Arringtons and the Courtney Browns from last year. They need a new guy to step up. And look at Mr. Kennedy. Are you going to say anything bad to that guy? Look at him on the right side of the screen. Big, oh, nice move there. Swim by a 320-pound guy. He has good movement as well as power.
It's 3rd down and long. 31 seconds opening quarter. Stallworth. Angelosi got it, but not enough for a 1st down. He gained about 7 or 8 yards, and it'll bring up 4th.
I tell you what, once again, Kennedy, he's getting in a rhythm. He came in there once again and pounded Stallworth. And that's what you want, to have that front 4 rushing up there to put some pressure on the quarterback to make him release it sooner. Watch it spin, but watch Kennedy come up the middle. Boom. Oh, my goodness. I think Krapinka's got him, too. And see, when you can make that quarterback throw out of his rhythm, make him get rid of the ball quicker, that's going to help you a lot. And you want it to get it done by that front 4. And you can see how fired up Kennedy is, and their whole team is that way.
That's it. Time has expired in the 1st quarter. A big quarter for Penn State. You are watching Big Ten football. We'll have more after this. Get ready to start the 2nd quarter here at Beaver Stadium. Penn State 27 unanswered points. Louisiana Tech trailing now by 20 and having to punt, as Rod Perry will be deep, as the puzzlement about the Penn State offense has been kind of solved in the 1st quarter.
Well, it's solved because they're making a lot of plays in a lot of different areas, including the kicking game on kick returns and on punts. So let's watch and see if they'll block this one. High snap.
High snap. You got a freshman punter, and it goes out of bounds about the 25-yard line.
Not a good sign for Louisiana Tech here. I mean, they're falling apart in all areas.
So Rashard Casey comes on. Penn State will take over to start the 2nd quarter. We'll be back after this. Back at Beaver Stadium, Penn State 27, Louisiana Tech 7. Eric McCoo rushing for over 100 yards in the 1st quarter and scoring a touchdown. McCoo gets the call, and he's close to another 1st down, about a yard short, about a 9-yard pickup by Eric McCoo. He was hit by Brian Bradford. Here's the statistical picture from that 1st quarter.
Yep. 110 yards rushing in the 1st half, as you talked about earlier. But look at the passing yards for Louisiana Tech. Only 28 yards. Among the nation's leaders in passing offense, they only have 28 yards. They average 316 yards per game, so they're way behind. And the turnovers, 3 turnovers in the 1st quarter.
Killed them last week against Kansas State, turnovers. 2nd down, about a yard to go, and Casey's going to go long. And flags go down as the defender down there, Jason Olford, was bumping around with a receiver.
Well, the one thing that Alford didn't realize, you can't face guard a guy. You have to look and make a play for the football. He never turned around at all. Now watch, they have Johnson flanked out there, Tony Johnson, who's a freshman, the brother of Larry Johnson. And it's just a straight go route. You can see he has good speed, but Alford doesn't make the play. He doesn't look around. And that's going to get you some flags. See Jack trying to say, good job, be there. He's trying to keep the guys' heads up.
David Sullivan and Al Harris with you here. We're at Beaver Stadium, where Penn State, 14:08 2nd quarter. 27-7 on Louisiana Tech. And after that call, 1st down for the Nittany Lions. McCoo up the middle. Right at the 1st down marker at the 40.
Boy, does McCoo have some moves. I mean, you can tell he's really in his rhythm as a running back, and this is exactly what you want to do as Penn State, getting that running game established. Tyler Linder, number 50, came in there, and he was making a nice block down the field. If he's able to get by Linder, it's going to be a touchdown.
McCoo has now carried 13 times for 126 yards.
Wow. And you can't say enough about what their offensive line is doing right now, blowing some gaping holes against that smallest front of Louisiana Tech.
That's first down. And Penn State, 13:45 in the quarter. Casey tripped up. Can he keep his feet? No.
The amazing thing about that play is he almost came out of that. I mean, that's the type of athlete he is. But they needed some negative yards, Louisiana Tech, you know, to get on Penn State, to get him in a long yardage situation. A running game is just killing him. So, although Rashard Casey doesn't seem like he's having one of those dynamic games like people are used to seeing him last year, he's controlling the offense. He's not making, well, he made one turnover from that strip, but he's doing a pretty good job.
Second down. And 17 after the loss, as Curtis Randall tripped Rashard Casey up for the loss back at the 47. Now we got whistles.
Taking too long.
Play clock expired.
We're getting a little sloppy here. Joe doesn't like that, as you can tell.
Prior to the snap, delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
I'll tell you what, this guy has won over 300 games. One of the greatest coaches in college football history, or history period. I mean, he's surely a Hall of Famer in college football when he retires. Just done a wonderful job with this program.
And right now, second down. It's 22 to go. Casey getting the pressure, scrambling. He's going to be able to escape and get it up and out of bounds at midfield. He gained maybe 2 yards for all that.
This is what we talked about at the top of the show. This guy, people talk about Michael Vick as far as his running ability. Now, he might not be quite as fast as Michael Vick, but he can really scare you with that. He has that, like Fran Tarkington sense. So watch this. Dips around, looks like he's going to be sacked, and all of a sudden gives a little forearm stab there to the lineman, and then he takes off. But remember, they're concentrating on keeping him in the pocket, so they're sending extra guys after him. So it's hard for him to get some running room. Now watch this block here by Johnson, number 7. Well, he kind of got nailed on that play. Brian Johnson. But he's getting out there. I mean, you got to remember, those DBs are going to pack a wallop.
We got a break in the action right now. You are watching Big Ten football. More after this. There's been one defensive touchdown. The rest of it coming from the Penn State offense as they have a 27-7 lead.
And they've done it in all areas. We talked about both on the kicking return game, punt blocks, defensive strips. They've done a lot of different areas to get that 27 points.
Penn State 50% in their third down conversions. This is 3rd and 19. And Casey, long for Johnson, out of his reach. Intended for Bryant Johnson.
That's the type of thing you want to, to hang that ball up there, but he didn't lead his receivers. Johnson had to adjust to it, but it hung up long enough that he possibly could make a play. You see Kenny Jackson there, an old teammate of mine at the Philadelphia Eagles, fine receiver there at Penn State, talking to Bryant. Kenny Jackson was a legend here at Penn State for many years.
And so John Simon goes back to receive the punt from David Royer. It's high, and fair catch is taken at about the 17. And we got 12-13 to go in the first half, 27-20 Penn State. Well, Louisiana Tech scored, Al, in the first couple of minutes of this game. They got a break, got the turnover, went in, scored very quickly. But Penn State came right back with a 65-yard return of the kick, scored, and it's just been snowballing from there.
I think this answers the question about, does Joe Pa still have it? I'll tell you what, he talked about it. He said they just need to relax and let the game come to them, and that's what's happening right now.
Here's Stallworth in. Louisiana Tech wanted to get a good, quick start on Penn State, which they did, but they were not able to capitalize on it. They've made their 3 big turnovers. It's helped Penn State. Almost another one there. Another tip ball.
Young Brian Stallworth there, he needs to settle down. You know, his balls are sailing on him. They're behind his receivers. Penn State is very opportunistic right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence defensively, and they don't want to get another turnover deep in their own territory.
Fahim Ali, number 6, is wide to the bottom. 3 wide outs there. Simon, number 8, the only back, and he's really a receiver. And they throw it underneath, get it to Simon, and he gets a first down out past the 28.
Boy, did they need that. You know, they realize that Penn State's been sending a lot of pressure. The best pass defense pressure is, pass coverage is a pass rush. And they let those guys come in this time. Simon was able to sneak out there and make a nice run. He's more of a receiver than a running back. Now watch him sneak out of there, and he does a nice job following his blocks there. Tackle almost made, but he did a nice job of running out, getting that first down.
Again, the shotgun. First down now for the Bulldogs. Kirpakis charging, and he released it, completes it, and almost at another first down over the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Needs the 42 for a first down. James Jordan, the receiver, number 83.
Now, we talked about Rashard Casey needing some nice, easy throws so receivers get some confidence. I think right now, Stallworth, you figure they have the great passing game, but he needs it right now. Watch the rush. Kirpakis coming right up, gets his hands up, but doesn't deter the pass. Jordan is the best runner, as we talked about earlier. He's a big guy, 230-some-odd pound receiver.
Bulldogs go without a huddle, 9 out of 14. And Simon hit for a loss behind the 40. Wrapped up by Derek Tolles. Yep.
You know what they're doing, Penn State is doing, they're lining up on a slot receiver and they're dancing back and forth to try to create some indecision. So watch Tolles at the bottom of your screen, number 2. He just shoots in there on a blitz. There's no place to go. But what they're doing right now, they're lining up on a slot receiver and they're giving a lot of different looks for Stallworth to read. They're acting like they're going to blitz and they back out the last minute. They act like they're going to cover and then blitz. They're doing a fine job. Now watch him move around the second down. There he goes.
Stallworth comes under center on second down and 12. Throws over in the front and hits his receiver. Dager.
Pass complete to number 9, Delwyn Dager.
And see, what they're doing right now, they're making these short passes, controlling the clock a little bit, keeping their defense off the field. They're a little bit winded, a lot of turnovers. So they're getting a nice sustained drive right now, making some nice, safe passes.
And the Bulldogs are third, 5 to go. A pass complete, but well short of the yardage needed for a first down. Shamar Finney was on coverage and made the stop.
I think what you have to do as a quarterback, you have to realize the down and distance and make sure you give your receivers a chance to make a first down. You know, you have to realize that and make that throw. I mean, he threw it in the middle, and there were a lot of blue shirts there, and there wasn't much room for that receiver to make a play.
A lot of work for this freshman punter today, Dustin Upton, number 37. Rod Perry, the lone back at the 10-yard line of Penn State. And the play clock is run out.
Well,
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty remains fourth down.
I don't know if you exactly want to do this. You know, you give them the receiver a chance to return the ball, the punt returner, versus kind of nailing them deep down there in their own territory. They're just falling apart in every area right now, mentally and physically. Talking about Louisiana Tech.
That means Perry now is just inside the Penn State 15. High punt. It's out of bounds, and they're going to mark it up at the 25-yard line. No return. No return, so Upton punts the ball high and short, a 31-yard punt. Elsewhere in the Big Ten this afternoon, Indiana first quarter leading North Carolina State 14-3. Fourth-ranked Michigan, 28-0 in the second quarter on Rice. The Wolverines rolling in the first half.
Well, that shows you the strength of the Big Ten. I mean, we saw Michigan State was winning as well, and you got Penn State running away with it right at this time.
Nittany Lions here lead 27-7. And Seneca is in at quarterback in place of Richard Casey. Matt Seneca, sophomore from Allentown.
Omar Easy, the ball carrier.
And Omar Easy got the call.
B.T. Washington on the stop.
Seneca's numbers. It's interesting that this early in the game, I mean, although Penn State's way ahead, you know, put Seneca in this early, you wonder if Casey has an injury, because there's Casey. You wonder if he has an injury. They just want to get Seneca some playing time with control of the game right now.
And Seneca will throw. Got his man. Complete. First down. Up over the 35-yard line. That's the tight end, Tony Stewart, number 89. A different look with Seneca, obviously.
Yeah, Seneca, he's more of a straight pocket passer. He's going to make the plays inside the pocket. Watch him. He's looking down. Nice throw there. Take advantage of Tony Stewart. The guy who catches a big fellow to get downfield. Does a nice job.
And it's a first down on the play to the 6'5" Tony Stewart. Now back to Omar Easy. Easy makes a big gain for another first down over the 45, up near the 47. Hit there by Jamie Nichols, number 97.
Well, you can tell the athleticism in Easy. I mean, he made some nice quick cuts for a big fella inside tight situation there.
Of course, the story on Omar Easy, he grew up in Jamaica and didn't really play a lot of football till about the 10th grade.
Well, he played cricket and soccer, right?
Yeah.
Till 10th grade. And so he's still learning the nuances of being a running back. Just basic things a lot of people would learn coming up, he didn't know. So I tell you what, once he connects that with the ability he has, he can be someone special out there for him.
He's a track star, Junior Olympic standing long jump champion. He is a great athlete. And stretching out, getting a first down, the fullback, Mike Caramelli. The senior fullback picks up another Penn State first down.
You know, I was glad for Michael Caramelli. This guy's been doing all the grunt work, doing the blocking for these running backs. And it's about time he gets a hold of the ball. Watch the nice blocking in there. And he just pops through, drops on the defensive back. And that's tough for him. You know, a guy we saw made a nice block was number 74, Jordan Caruso, who fainted in preseason practice, and now he's back out there on the offensive line.
It's second and short from the 44, and Seneca underthrows it under pressure.
That's the kind of pressure you need there. You have Michael Boone come up the middle.
And the Tech bench, Brian Stallworth.
Now watch this pressure here by Michael Boone, number 44. He's just coming right up the middle, fighting, keeping those legs moving.
Now third and short. 7.5 minutes in the first half. On the ground, this is McCoo back in the game, and he's got the first down and a lot more. Eric McCoo having a tremendous first half.
You know, watching them run today, it's hard to believe that they had a problem in the running game. I mean, that's what happens when you start relaxing and letting your natural talents take over.
You know, talking to Jack McNeil last night, his big concern was his young defense.
Yep.
And what he might see out of Penn State today. He didn't believe what he had seen in the films of those first two games.
Reload! You're down, Montoya!
It's a first down.
You're down, Montoya!
Omar Easy with a nice spin move. Now driving, breaking loose. Oh, my. Omar Easy brings the crowd up to its feet.
There's a personal foul there late. There might have been a silly penalty on Penn State lineman. We'll have to see.
Willie Shepard finally able to stop Easy, but there is a flag.
Now watch this run. You're talking about, oh, nice spin move right there and shoulder. Remember, we're talking about this guy has all the he has all the tools. He's doing, I mean, he has a little bit of everything there. A Jim Brownish type run. I'm not trying to put him in that category, but he did a little bit of everything. Spin, power, speed.
And the flag is going to wipe that nice run out.
I think that was on Gus Fedler, number 72. I saw him getting a little altercation with a defender on Louisiana Tech.
Foul on the offense. The play went beyond the line of the game. Results in a 1st and 10.
Wouldn't want to beat Fedler on that one. Well,
back on the 42 now with a 1st down. In motion, Tony Johnson. Easy gets the call. Omar Easy, another flag is down, and Easy gets it down near the 30 and a 1st down, but a flag back upfield at about the 37-yard line, or 44-yard line.
oh, boy. 2 outstanding runs in a row. You feel for Omar Easy there. He's doing his job, but the guys are breaking down on the offensive front after having a real good start.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Remains 1st down.
Now it's going to be 1st down and 20.
It's not exactly what you want for young Matt Seneca there. You don't want him in a long, first and 20-odd yards, and they should have been probably in the end zone the way they were running.
Pass out into the flat is a complete for a gain up over the 45, but still a good ways from the 1st down. They need to get to the 32. Kenny Watson.
You see Kenny Watson right there? It's one thing we talked about with the coaching staff. He played wide receiver last year, but they had Fields and Drummond there, so he moved him to running back. They flanked him back out at wide out, and they want to get him out there to make some plays. So we have to remember he has wide out experience from last year, and they need some help there.
Gain of about 7. Penn State's offensive coordinator, Frank Ganter. Been here a long time with Joe Paterno. That is complete inside the 40, but still not enough for a 1st down. The 32 was needed for the 1st.
Nice catch by McHugh there.
Carlin Thomas with the tackle.
But Seneca, you have to like what he's doing. He's staying, he's composed. He had long yardage. Now he has them within striking range to make a 1st down. I mean, he's playing within the offense. He's not trying to do anything special.
5 yards to go, 3rd down. Louisiana Tech scored first, and since then, Penn State has scored 27 unanswered points. They lost it high and incomplete, looking for McHugh inside the 20, and now it'll be 4th.
Well, that was close.
So this drive is really, it's just stalled out. 2 penalties, calling back nice runs by Easy, and it ends here going over to 4th down.
Ulysses Allen here looked like he got there a little early. 35, that was close. It almost looked like it could have been interference.
Royer averaging 31 yards a punt. This is high. It's going to be inside the 5. Takes a nice Penn State bounce. And the Nittany Lions down it at about the 6. So Louisiana Tech backed up, poor field position when we come back. We got a timeout. You're watching Big Ten football. More after this. Nittany Lions enjoying a 27-20 lead on Louisiana Tech with 4.5 minutes or so left here in the 1st half. Joe Paterno's team just got a good break on that punt. Louisiana Tech had 12 men on the field, and so a penalty gives the ball back to Penn State. They've got the ball at the Louisiana Tech 22, 1st down and 10. And Rashard Casey is in now at quarterback.
Wow, that's interesting. I wonder if they wanted Rashard Casey to relax a little bit and get to watch how the offense is going to be run. Now, this is not good for Louisiana Tech. You have a punt, and you were going to get the ball. Now, in trouble again.
Big trouble. McCoo. He's hit, knocked back, didn't get to the much more than the line of scrimmage. Hit by Wallace.
Eric McCoo. You know, it's interesting hearing the fans react to him. Ooh, you know, it's, you know, he has a lot of he's a big fan favorite here at Penn State, and he's done a wonderful job so far in the first half.
He got one on that play. 1 yard pickup, 2nd and 9 at the Louisiana Tech 21. Omar Easy, and Easy picks up 5 or 6, gets down around the 15.
I'm very impressed with this guy, Omar Easy. Has a lot of natural run instincts. Mejiglia, he has good leg drive.
Well, we're down to less than 3.5 minutes in this half. And Penn State on 3rd down, 3 out of 7 today. And this time, Easy caught and trapped behind the line. So the Bulldog defense making a couple of big plays here after Penn State got some great field position. Now it's going to be 4th down. Well, Brandon Evans made the stop.
Well, Evans got through there, and they needed a play like that. You know, they gobbled up a lot of time. Hopefully they can hold Penn State. Well, actually, they want to block this field goal here if they possibly can, but at least they're keeping them out of the end zone.
This will be a 35-yard attempt by Brian Primanti. Primanti 1 for 1 on the year. That was a 37-yarder. This one will be 34 yards. Primanti's kick is up, and it is perfect. Right down the middle. And it's 30-7. Penn State ups the lead to 23 on the field goal. We'll be back in a minute. You are watching Big Ten football. Today, Penn State has returned to playing Penn State football. They are leading 30-7 over Louisiana Tech. They just scored on a 34-yard field goal by Primanti and 14-play drive, 58 yards, for just less than 7 minutes off the clock. It was a drive stalled by a couple of penalties that wiped out a couple of nice runs by Omar Easy.
Yeah, it was, but they're in control right now. They have to be feeling good.
Simon will come out of the end zone with it on the reverse play. And they're going to get it out over the 15. Terrence Jefferson, number 1, has hit at about the 15-yard line. So a 15-yard return of the kick.
Boy, they handed that off a little too deep for my liking. I mean, they were like at the 2-yard line when they did that handoff, and you don't want to see them run into each other and bump and possibly have a fumble in the end zone for another touchdown for Penn State.
Louisiana Tech's one touchdown was, of course, set up by a turnover by Penn State, which gave them the ball inside the 20-yard line. They have not been able to drive the field on a scoring drive on this Penn State defense. Stallworth, pass tipped, incomplete. Trying to get it to James Jordan, number 83.
You know, Yako Israel made a nice play on that. He was baiting. He was trying to give a different look to Stallworth, and he would act like he was going to blitz, and he would come off the slot guy, and he'd come back. You know, they're doing a good job. Their defensive backs are doing a good job creating some indecision in Brian Stallworth's mind.
This game is being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television. 2nd down for Stallworth and the Bulldogs, trailing by 23 points, closing minutes first half. Stallworth, air it out here, long and in and out of the hands of the receiver at midfield. That was Daig, and there is a flag down. Back upfield at the line of scrimmage.
I wonder if that's a roughing the passer penalty on this, or what to see.
Penalty marker on the play.
Yep, legal procedure on Louisiana Tech.
Tell you what, it's that's very frustrating. Not only you're getting beat physically, mentally, you're just blowing up.
Now this penalty will
illegal formation. 6 players on the line of scrimmage on the decline. Third down.
That can happen sometimes when you have those multiple formations with all those wideouts. Guys have to make sure who's on the line and who's off there. And that probably happened on that play.
Stallworth's respectable numbers, only 69 yards. He's completed 11 out of 18. Touchdown and 1 interception. Stallworth being chased, and down he goes inside the 5. That was Michael Haynes, number 81, a sophomore from Columbus, New Jersey.
See, that's what they were hoping for. The guys up front, there's another twist stunt, what we call a tackle twist. Haynes just comes in there. Watch him go underneath. They're gonna confuse the lineman. He's gonna come shooting right up here. Stallworth doesn't have much of a chance. Haynes, a skinny guy by comparison to Kennedy. Haynes is about 255, and he turned on the speed there and made a nice play for a sack.
59 seconds on the clock. The clock should read 1:59.
The referee making them change the time on the clock to 1:59, which they've just done.
Well, if you're,
that was a timeout.
I flew on the plane with the officials, the crew that are doing this game. They've been pretty busy with a lot of these penalties recently.
A couple on Penn State. Too many men on the field on Louisiana Tech. They have been a rash of them here in this second quarter.
Personal foul to back him up a bit.
And now they're going to have to punt. Upton be standing deep in his end zone. And Penn State with 1:59 to go. As you can see, only 19 yards per punt average for Upton.
That's not going to get it done. He needs to get a nice boomer out here, but he's back up to the end zone. And it's going to happen.
As a good snap. High but short punt that'll be coming down inside around the 40. Oh, there's a great block and wrestled out of bounds on the return. And a flag is down.
That might have been too good of a block.
That was Rod Perry, number 18, on the return. 35-yard punt and a 6-yard return by Perry. Now the question about the penalty.
Oh boy, can't go below the legs.
And so that will be stepped off.
Really wanting to protect the kids, can't go below the knees. Adam Talaferro, number 43, is a freshman corner. He had a really nice block on that return.
During the return, block on the return team. 15 yards from the spot on the end of the run. First down.
That wiped out some good field position for Paterno's team.
Well, it seems like the game is slowing down mentally for both teams. You're seeing a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties now. You know, Penn State, you know, there's really no excuse for them. I mean, they need to stay focused just because they're up 30-7. This is a quick strike team that could possibly get back in the game. So you want to maintain that concentration.
Rashard Casey is at quarterback. And they go on the ground for a few yards up the middle, maybe a gain of a couple. As McCoo picked up a couple. McCoo over 115 yards in the first half.
Well, Jerome Wallace is the freshman linebacker for Louisiana Tech. They like him a lot. They think he's got star potential all over.
Now we're going to be looking at 3rd and long, and the time winds down. 1:23. Jason Olford in there to make the hit.
You know, that's that's one of the things we talked about early in the game. The receivers have to catch the football. You know, Brian Johnson had one, looked like it hit him right in the chest almost. And so you have Rashard Casey. You got to make him feel comfortable about you out there. You got to catch the ball. That ball was there. And that's, you know, concentration. You got to relax, but you still have to concentrate and look that ball into your hands.
3rd and 7. Casey completes it, and it's going to be right at the first down marker to Tony Johnson, the freshman from here in State College. And it is a first down, and Penn State continues. 1:16 to go in the half.
Nice catch by Johnson. We talked about looking that ball into your hands, catches it up high. Nice soft hands.
Casey again to Johnson, who spins loose from the 2 defenders to score. Tony Johnson, 35-yard touchdown from Rashard Casey. That'll be his first career touchdown as the true freshman goes in.
Now, we just saw him using his hands before. Now, watch him again. He's going to come on a slant, get those hands up there, and just shoddy tackling by Louisiana Tech. You got to tackle better than that.
And so the domination of the Nittany Lions, 44 seconds to go. The 35 yards, 48-yard drive, 35 coming on the touchdown pass. And again, a bad snap on the point after. And an incomplete pass off of the broken play. 36-7 Penn State.
Well, I know. I mean, even though Penn State is really taking it to him. Here you have the ISO again. Now watch him just push off real quick with that to get some separation. Watch his hands come up, catch it right in his hands, and just bad tackling there by Pernetter, number 3, Louisiana State. He has to be able to tackle better than that. He's a senior. This is what happened to them last week against Kansas State. They got down and
moving quickly, 4 plays, 48 yards, 44 seconds off the clock. And it's now 36-7.
So this is what happened to them, as I was sharing. It's, you know, they went against Kansas State. They got down and just seemed like everything just fell apart. You know, they missed Tim Rattay. You know, last year, obviously, he's with the San Francisco 49ers now as a draft pick. But he really made that offense work, and they're just really struggling right now.
Young head coach, second youngest in the NCAA Division 1A, and Jack Bicknell. Last year, 9-4. Or 9-4 is his record over his 2 years. Last year, 8-3. They cracked into the top 25 briefly. But today they have run into a buzzsaw with Penn State lighting it up for 36 here in the first half. Not much on the return, not a lot of room there for Terrence Jefferson, number 1. He got a 10-yard return on the kick. And just under a minute to go in the first half, so Louisiana Tech, what will they do?
Well, you get that, like you said, 58 seconds left. With the kind of offense they have, they can definitely go down and get a score. But Penn State has just been defending them so well, mixing up the coverage as well, getting good pressure from their front 4. Not so much from blitzers, but the people up front have been getting pressure. So they have to block better up on the front for Louisiana Tech.
Brian Stallworth. In the last minute of the first half. Pass caught. Nice catch. Brought down up for a first down near the 30.
Nice catch by James Jordan. The nice thing about for Louisiana Tech in college football, whenever there's a first down, the clock stops until they move those chains and set them so they can get ready.
Jordan, a receiver, has had 4 100-yard reception games. The protection for Stallworth is there. Throws the interception. Picked off by James Boyd. That's 2 on the day.
Well, I tell you what, James Boyd is going to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Week for the Big Ten here. He had a touchdown fumble recovery. But watch, Stallworth, you gotta watch where you're throwing. He throws right in there. He's covered like a blanket. You got to throw that away. Boyd comes in there, makes another nice pick. Once again, Louisiana Tech turns it over. We've talked about them leading the nation in turnovers, and they're getting a big lead on that unless somebody else does something a lot worse than this.
A couple of big games for Boyd. He had 16 tackles against Toledo, interception, fumble recovery, return for a score today. Casey to Easy out of the backfield inside the 20-yard line, out around the 15. So Easy shows you that he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield as well as run it.
Well, you'll see Easy coming in here again. See him come out in the flat. He has nice soft hands, and he's a load to tackle, as you can see there, for any defensive back. But nice soft hands for a big guy.
14 yards on that play.
Got him flanked out there wide again.
Now from the 18. Casey. Oh. And kind of skips out of bounds at the 15. Gained maybe 3 yards.
You know what? As much as you marvel over Rashard's athletic ability, he had Easy sitting out there all alone in the flat. He should have thrown it to him because that's why he's a running back. See, now watch Easy. I think you might be able to see him on the screen there. He was just sitting out there all by himself. He made some nice moves there. You can tell his athleticism is tremendous.
24 seconds left. Casey 5 out of 8, 63 yards, 3 touchdowns, none intercepted. The crowd here chanting for more. They lead 36-7. Omar Easy to the 10. Needs the 8 for a first down, so the clock runs down to 17-16. So Stallworth and the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech with just 7 points in the first half.
Well, you have one timeout left here. We're talking about 16 seconds left. I think you need to take a chance and blitz up your Louisiana Tech to make sure that you can get some pressure on their passing game as well as a run, to plug up that run. I don't know if you want to sit back like they've been doing recently because Penn State's had their way offensively with them. I think you have to get them back, and hopefully you can create a fumble or a strip or at least knock them out of field goal range.
Well, timeout's about up. 16 seconds to go in this first half. 36-7 Penn State. And the Nittany Lions are less than 10 yards away from another touchdown. Casey goes for Watson, and a flag, I think, right on the goal line. Kenny Watson, number 22, was the intended receiver, but he was being bumped there around the goal line.
Well, you know what they did? They sent Kenny Watson in motion there, and they ended up having him in the slot. As you see him coming across here, that's not Kenny Watson, but
on the defense. Ball be placed on the 2-yard line, 1st and goal.
The defensive back got there too early, and those have been the type of plays, all kinds of middle breakdowns.
Now there are 12 seconds left in the half. Penn State now at the 2-yard line. After the pass interference on Louisiana Tech. Casey throws, got it. McCoo, touchdown. 8 seconds left in the half. Casey to McCoo.
Tell you what, this helps the quarterback rating big time. You have protection like this. Nice throw. Just lofts it up there. That's the nice thing I like about seeing Casey when he's towards the end zone. He's not trying to gun it in there. He's just lofting it up, letting his receivers get underneath. McCoo is having a career game here today.
He's rushed for 136 yards. He's got 3 receptions for 10 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half.
My goodness.
And the point after is good, so it's Penn State 43-7 with 8 seconds left.
Well, this is what penalties do. They give the team another chance to score late in the first half. Just great protection. Casey just lofts it up there. And McCoo, I mean, he has nice hands. It's tough to cover him.
With all the drop passes in the first 2 games to the receivers, you've noticed a lot of passes to the backs coming out of the backfield in this game. McCoo and Easy have played a big part in this half.
Well, I think, we haven't seen much of him today as far as the running back situation, but we have to remember Larry Johnson kind of started this thing off because it looked like it was going to be another one of those days. Penn State turns the ball over deep in Louisiana Tech territory. They get a touchdown. They're up 7-0. They look real sloppy on the first series.
Larry Johnson's 65-yard kickoff return.
Exactly, and all of a sudden it was like they scored immediately. So obviously that helped relax them a lot.
And it's been kind of a nightmare for Brian Stallworth this first half, to say the least.
Well, you have to wonder, here he did, the last game he had 4 turnovers, 3 picks coming out of halftime. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts, going into this second half. They need better production out of the quarterback position.
Penn State scoring again on a short drive, eating up very little time in the closing seconds of the half. Terrence Jefferson goes out of bounds, and there are going to be just 2 seconds left. 23 yards on that return.
Wow, you think about what a mountain that Louisiana Tech has to climb here. They're playing against one of the top pass defenses in the country, and they're down 43-7. 2 seconds left to go in the half. It's not pretty.
Nope. And with just 2 seconds left and 1 play left in them, let's see how they end up the half.
But what happens here, as much as Louisiana Tech is a passing team, it really makes them really one-dimensional because they use the run every once in a while to keep a team off balance. But when you're down by this many points, people totally disregard the run. The tackles get in, the defensive linemen get in their track stances. They know that, if you're going to run, hey, run it, go ahead. We don't care. We're going to rush the passer. So it makes them one-dimensional. As you see Jack there trying to keep them in the game, at least mentally if you can.
Jack Picknell was the center on the Boston College teams when Doug Flutie was there.
Doug Flutie, he was an old teammate of mine with the Chicago Bears. He was only there for a year.
And they're going to be content to run the clock out here and end this first half. And for Louisiana Tech, it'll have to be a tremendous comeback if they're going to get into this thing. They're down 43-7, a game dominated by the Nittany Lions. You are watching Big Ten football. We'll have more after this. Pittsburgh to take the Panthers, and then they open up Big Ten play. And now, Harris, they've got some tough road games, to say the least.
Yeah, they do. I did the Ohio State game last week, and they have a very opportunistic defense. They had 4 defensive touchdowns last week, so their offense is going to have to be ready to roll. Purdue, obviously, you got Drew Brees there, who's a Heisman Trophy candidate. And then later on, you go down to Illinois, Kurt Kittner. Ron Turner's doing a good job there getting that program back up to speed. And as you can see, on the 28th at Indiana, we saw Antoine Randall L. and his explosiveness. You're seeing all these quarterbacks with the mobility, making plays happen downfield.
It's a real strong year of Big Ten football.
Yes, it is. I mean, we've seen earlier today, we've seen how the Big Ten has dominated all around the country. And, you know, they've just changed. They're no more that 3 yards a cloud of dust. They had a lot of athletes that can stretch the ball downfield.
And we got more to come here in Happy Valley. We'll be back to Penn State, where the Nittany Lions have a big lead on Louisiana Tech at halftime.
Worries are over, for at least in the first half.
There's been more than football this weekend here at Penn State. Yesterday, a new library was dedicated, and the man's name on that library is Paterno. It's the Paterno Library, and hundreds of people came out here yesterday to honor both a new and a traditional semblance of excellence here at Penn State. This new library and its namesake, head coach Joe Paterno. Since 1983, after winning his first national championship on the football field, Joe and Sue Paterno actively supported the fundraising efforts to make this magnificent $34 million facility become a reality. Without a great library, you can't have a great university, said Coach Paterno. The 1994 campaign for the library, led by the Paternos, raised nearly $14 million for the library from some 3,000 donors. Private giving, as well as the state and university, provided the other funds. The Paterno Library joins the existing library, which enjoyed some extensive renovation. Together, the two libraries have almost 500,000 square feet of space, can hold 2 million volumes, and house 475 computers, wired for the information age, 150 miles of cable, and that'll connect them to the internet via 1,800 data ports. The new Paterno Library here at Penn State. And there's more construction at Penn State. Of course, the addition and the renovation here at the stadium, as Beaver Stadium will go from its current 94,000 or so seats, when everything is complete for next season, 105,000 will be able to be brought in here for Saturday afternoon home football games at Penn State. And so far, Joe Paterno's name is not on it. I don't know if he would want it on the stadium or not, but certainly the library was certainly a great effort by the Paternos and the university.
Well, Dave, a lot of times you think about college football coaches are only interested in getting their guys in the pros and recruiting. But here's Joe Paterno. He has his name on a library, which says a lot about how much he believes in education. He realized that most of these guys will never make it to the next level. And I think that's a great honor for a football coach to have a library named after him.
And that's the story here at Penn State. And we'll be back with the Nittany Lions up 43-7 over Louisiana Tech in a minute. 3 and Louisiana Tech 7 at halftime. And there were questions all week about the Penn State offense because they'd only scored 11 points in the first two games. But Al Harris here this afternoon, 43 points in this first half. That's the most points in the first half since they scored 50 against Louisville in the '97 season. So the offensive questions seem to have been answered.
Well, it's been answered a lot by turnovers on Louisiana Tech's side. I mean, they've led the nation in turnovers the first two games, and they're going to seem like they're going to continue to do it in this game. They've given Penn State a very short field for their offense to work, and that's really helped Penn State a lot.
Let's take a look at the statistics from the first half, and I know you know what the numbers are going to look like just when you look at the scoreboard.
Ooh, I mean, they're not a rushing team, but the number that jumps out at you is the passing yards for Louisiana Tech. They average 316 yards a game, and they only have 85. The other number that jumps out to me is the time of possession for Penn State's offense. The last couple of games, the other team's offense controlled the ball for close to 38 minutes a game. So, you know, this is a big turnaround for their offense. You can see the rushing game. They only have had 36 yards the first two games. They have 168 just in the half. So, and then turnovers, look at that, 4-2 for Louisiana Tech. So you have to feel good being a Penn State Nittany Lion right now.
And not so good if you're a Bulldog for Louisiana Tech, Al. What if anything, can Jack Becknell hope to accomplish in the second half? Try to gain some momentum or respect for the football team in the second half?
Well, they have to be careful with the football. They have to not get turnovers again, but they just have to concentrate on one series at a time. Don't try to get it all back at one time. They have an explosive offense. It's going to be tough because Penn State has one of the top-ranked passing defenses in the country, but they have to just get on the board, feel good about themselves, and, you know, just take care of the ball and not have mental mistakes, all those penalties they've been having.
We'll see if that can happen. We'll be back. The second half coming up here from Beaver Stadium. Nittany Lions 43-7. The Lions have poured it on in the first half, leading Louisiana Tech 43-7. And Eric McCoo has had a fabulous first half of football.
3 touchdowns in the first half. They only had a touchdown a game before, but you know, he's doing it all. He's catching the ball, he's running the ball. It's been effective in all areas.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights and scoring plays from the first half. In the first quarter, after a turnover, Stallworth gets the ball into the end zone to Cangelosi.
Well, then Penn State strikes right back with Eric McCoo. A quick snap there and a fumble stripped by Karpankis there. And James Boyd picks it up and runs it in the end zone. They're up 14-7.
Big run by McCoo. He had a bunch of them in the first half.
Well, you see there, nice blocking, just like a big express train there. Runs it in easy. Touchdown.
Rashard Casey had a good first half.
Nice loft here to the tight end. Tony Stewart finds him in the corner of the end zone.
And they even had a field goal, 34 yards by Permanent.
Well, that's what you need, consistency in all parts of the game. And there you have there, Tony Johnson, the freshman, using his hands, fighting off bad tackling by the Louisiana Tech defensive secondary. Another lofty pass to who else? Eric McCoo.
And that's your first half. Rashard, the Nittany Lions, Rashard Casey leading them to a 43-point first half and a 43-7 lead over Louisiana Tech.
Well, if you're Louisiana Tech right now, you don't try to get it back all at one time. You just want to have a successful drive to get a touchdown on the board, if not at least a field goal.
And Louisiana Tech will take the touchback here as the kick sails out of the end zone.
It'll be interesting to see how they approach coming out of the halftime. That usually tells you a lot about the team. On Louisiana Tech's side, you know, how much confidence does Brian Stallworth have? I mean, he's had 2 very shaky games in a row now. He has 2 interceptions. Now, his stats are kind of misleading. You know, he's not bad, over 50%, but he has to get something going. He has to catch those receivers in rhythm to make some pass plays.
On the play fake, interception. First pass is picked off and brought down by Shamar Finney, number 21 junior out of Shelby, North Carolina. And Penn State right back at it at the 25.
Boy, oh boy, that's exactly what we were just talking about. I mean, they can't turn the ball over the first play. I mean, it looks like the Penn State defender, Finney, was the receiver. Finney's made a couple good plays. Remember, he stripped Cangelosi earlier.
That's 3 interceptions now thrown by Stallworth. And gives Penn State another chance, and McNeil tries some words of encouragement there to his young quarterback. Hit and dropped for a loss, so nothing for McCoo on his first attempt of the half.
When Brian Bradford came shooting in there on a blitz, the outside linebacker, they need to get Penn State back there in a hurry, possibly take them out field goal range and kind of keep them back there. There's Stallworth. You can see he has to be discouraged right now. Come right out of the chute and throw interception on the first play, and you're down, you know, 43-7. That's not what you want.
Well, he's thrown 7 now in less than 2 games, so. But against 2 pretty tough opponents on the road, too. That pass inside the 20 is complete. They need to go to the 14 for a first down. Tony Stewart, the tight end.
I tell you what, you know, when you think about the tight ends, they're not the most explosive guys usually in the offensive package, but they can be a quarterback's best friend. You know, they're big, huge targets. Stewart, he's a big man, 6'5", 260, and he just sits in the zone, just makes himself a big target, a nice, easy throw for Rashard Casey.
Ball's at the 19-yard line, 3rd and 5. We're in the 3rd quarter. Penn State up 43-7. Mike Caramelli, the fullback. But there is a flag back upfield at the 18.
That's going to come back. Looks like something in the Penn State interior line. It's like below the waist.
Well, you know, after this game that Paterno will be talking about the penalties that the offense has had. They've had several.
Chop block. on the offense. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Remains third down.
And that was on the interior. You wonder if it was kind of like a high-low situation. Oh, yeah, you can see it. See, when you have a guy engaged there, it's tough to see on that particular one. You can see it quick, but you can't go high-low on a guy. You have to do it simultaneously if you're going to hit. But if there's any delay, they're going to call you for that.
That's 7 penalties now for 80 yards against Penn State, and this play is third down. And they got 19 to go. They need the 14-yard line for a first. Casey got rid of it to Omar Easy. And Easy slashes inside the 20. And it's going to bring fourth down. He still didn't get enough for a first down.
You know, it helps a lot when you have a quarterback with the athleticism of Casey. Now watch the pressure that comes up here. I think everybody in the stadium, including us, are thinking it's going to be a sack. But he keeps his feet, flips the ball out there to Easy, and gets some positive yards for them. Puts him in field goal range.
It's fourth down, and we'll see Ryan Primanti 36 yards out. He's made one from 34 today, and previously had made a 37-yarder. 36-yard attempt. He had plenty of distance on it, and it's good. So Ryan Primanti makes it 46-7. Penn State leading, 12:30 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back. Well, we've just had a Penn State field goal, 36 yards. And the Nittany Lions extend the lead 46-7 here in the third quarter. 12:30 to go. This game being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television. Out of the end zone, Louisiana Tech looking for some sort of a highlight here. That's normally John Simon. Fahim Ali, number 6, the return man.
He took that pretty deep in the end zone. I thought he was going to get nailed on his 12-yard line, but he did a good job of making a good cutback there.
23 yards on the return. Now these young men are certainly suffering through a long part of this ball game so far, down 46-7.
Just a story is turnovers. I mean, how much can you say it? I mean, they've just given Penn State great field position each time.
Stallworth hands the ball off, and down 39 points, and they go on the ground. Maybe they felt that would catch Penn State off guard a bit. Corby Addison ran the ball, number 26, hit by Shamar Finney, number 21.
So you got horse collared on that one. We talked about the turnovers. Look at that, 13 points and 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. So I mean, that's 20 points right there.
It's second down, 5 to go. Stallworth's pass caught for the first down. Out over the 40, or the 37 rather. That was picked up by Delwyn Daig.
The thing I'm really impressed about what Penn State's doing, their defensive backs are doing a heck of a job on those receivers. You're talking about experienced receivers who come from one of the top passing programs in the country, and you haven't heard much from those wideouts.
Well, that was a first down. Stallworth runs out of the pocket and picks up 4 or 5 yards.
You know, this is one of the things that Jack McNeil talked about doing. You know, Stallworth is more mobile than Tim Rattay was last year. They wanted to do him some bootlegs and some run plays, quarterback draws, because they have everybody spread out, and there's not a lot of guys in the middle. So, you know, when you have those 3-4 wide seats, he just looks for a spot, has good running skills there.
And he picked up 7. So second down and 3. They need the 48 for a first down. And dropped up near the first down marker. Out of the hands of James Jordan. So it'll be third down.
James Jordan's usually a pretty sure-handed guy. He's not going to drop too many of those. You got to, the quarterback struggling like that, you got to help him out.
Last week, Louisiana Tech lost 54-10 at Kansas State. They had opened their season with a 63-10 win over Mississippi Valley State. Stallworth on third down. Pass tipped out of bounds, incomplete. Number 10, Valjew over there putting on the pressure.
The star of that last play for Penn State was Justin Kerpankis. He came from the left side of the screen. They try to move him around. He's their best pass rusher from the outside. This guy, they say you can't tire him out. I mean, the coaching staff said he goes 100 miles an hour all the time. He went barreling into Stallworth on that play.
So Dustin Upton to punt. High snap, barely got it out of there, and they'll down it around the 25-yard line. Oh, Upton this time a 29-yard punt.
Well, if you talk about, remember when we talked about in the pregame about the 3 big-time receivers? They're pretty much shut down there. Look at Daig only has 2 for 13. Candelosi got 1 touchdown early in the game. James Jordan, you know, they pretty much shut those guys down for their offense pretty well.
There's Daig on the bench. Came into the game with 11 catches in the first couple of games. Junior out of Baton Rouge. We go under the 10-minute mark now. Third quarter. Penn State 46-7. Casey on the handoff.
Boy.
And Omar Easy punches it out up near the 35.
That was just a nice surge by the Penn State interior line there. Watch this push. Look at that. Just good blocking at point of attack. They're just moving those guys. Felder, 72, does a good job there as well.
It gave him a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Play clock winding down to 2 seconds. Omar Easy running right up the middle. First down.
Wow. I tell you what, this guy, they're talking about, he's taking him time to learn. He seems like he's learning leaps and bounds. I mean, he just has great natural skills. I watched the line get a good surge off of there. They're just pancaking guys, and nice cutback by Easy. That's what you need. Big old Gus Felder there.
Casey's pass. Watson's got it. First down. So Richard Casey connecting with Kenny Watson, playing at wide receiver. That's a 15-yard pickup.
See, this takes away so much of what Louisiana Tech was planning to do. They really felt that, you know, the running game was struggling for Penn State, and so they really wanted to concentrate on the best athlete on the field, which was Richard Casey. But really, I mean, he's thrown, what, 3 to 4 touchdown passes, but he hasn't really been as explosive with his legs as far as doing damage against Louisiana Tech as you see player down there.
That's Brian Bradford, the linebacker. We'll be back. You're watching Big Ten football. More after this. Beginning of this game, and Louisiana Tech scored in the first minute and a half to lead 7-0. Since then, 46 unanswered points from Penn State. Nittany Lions first down. 8-13, third quarter. There's Casey. And the catch and the flag. That's Watson, Kenny Watson, the senior out of Harrisburg.
And that's who, that was the guy that we talked about, just moved out to receiver this week. He was a former receiver last year.
30 yards on that play.
This is a nice catch. He's pretty much blanketed by the corner.
Kerry Davis.
But Davis looks around a little too late. He's kind of turned in there, but he kept his eye on the ball.
On the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
And that has to make you feel a lot better as a quarterback when you can go out there and have a guy make a play like that for you. You feel more comfortable. You don't feel like you have to force the ball or try to help the guy catch it. You can just throw it and let the guy make the play.
Everything has just worked, for the most part, well for Penn State today. Balls are being caught. Passes are being made.
A little bit too many penalties, though, I bet you Joe would tell you.
He will tell you that, I'm sure.
But you're right. On most of every area, they've excelled.
There's another touchdown. Rashard Casey this time goes to Delich. Steve Delich.
Steve Delich is a walk-on. A walk-on for Penn State. He makes a nice adjustment. They talked about he can catch anything you throw to him. Now watch the adjustment he makes right here. Nice catch.
Put that on his highlight reel.
He keeps catching like that. He's not going to be a walk-on anymore.
Out of Loveland, Colorado. And for this guy, this gets worse. And with 7:54 to go in the third quarter, Penn State 53 and Louisiana Tech 7. You're watching Big Ten football. More after this. Well, a big afternoon for Penn State. 53-7 they're leading. Rashard Casey and Delich certainly celebrating the latest touchdown. Some speed to the outside, but knocked out of bounds. Jefferson around the 22. Big day for Rashard Casey.
Well, speaking of last touchdown for them, this is his 5th touchdown pass for Rashard Casey. Delich just does a good job of keeping his eyes up. And see the defenders, Willie Shepard on that one for Louisiana Tech. I mean, they're not looking around for the ball. They're just shadowing the guy. They're not looking to try to make a play. They got to turn around and have confidence and look and see if they can get an interception.
The Bulldogs down 53-7, 7:43 to go. They still have Stallworth at quarterback. And they don't get much on the ground. Penn State not going to yield much to the running game. David Sullivan along with Al Harris here at Beaver Stadium in State College, Pennsylvania. This afternoon's attendance 94,955.
Where do all those people come from in this little rural place?
From everywhere. They say as far away as Indiana. They'll drive from the state of Indiana here to games. Alumni coming back. Incomplete on the pass.
I'll tell you what, this is at the time of the game. See Casey's numbers there in the second half. Perfect. But this is the time of the game. If you're Louisiana Tech, you may start to look at your backup quarterback a little bit because you don't want Brian Stallworth to just keep getting in the funk here. If he doesn't get a decent drive here, maybe you go with your backup, even though he's a freshman. I know they don't want to put him in there, but, you know, you're down 53-7.
And there's an awful lot of time left to play in this game, a quarter and a half. Stallworth intercepted. Boyd's got another one. Boy, what an afternoon he's had. James Boyd picks off the Stallworth pass right on the heels of your comment.
I'm telling you, James Boyd, I make a prediction. He will be the defensive player of the week in the Big Ten.
2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 touchdown. Not a bad afternoon for a defensive back.
No, I can't imagine someone having a better day, not only in the Big Ten, in the nation defensively. But see, that's what I'm talking about. You can tell Stallworth.
6 players on the line of scrimmage on the offense. Elliott's refused. Touchdown.
You know, that's 8 interceptions in 2 games for Brian Stallworth. And you have to look at that and see if you can get some other people in there.
Well, and we mentioned earlier that Louisiana Tech coming into the game was #1 in the nation in turnovers. They had 8 in 2 games, and that number just continues to grow.
Yeah, and I think for their team's sake, I know Maxi Causey's just a freshman, but at this point it's not going to hurt. You know, and you want to give your guys a chance that they can feel that they can get the ball down the field. You have the same receivers that you had last year. Now, obviously, Penn State's doing a great job of getting their hands on them, you know, getting them out of their rhythm as far as running their routes. They can't run them as easy and freely as they've done in the first game.
Another quarterback change for Penn State, as Casey with 5 touchdown passes takes a breather. That goes to Larry Johnson. Haven't seen a lot of Johnson. He had that long, beautiful kickoff return in the first half. We've seen an awful lot of Eric McCoo and Omar Easy.
Well, you know, Larry Johnson, he's his father is a defensive line coach here, and you imagine the tension that must have been going on there this week with the statements he made. And I think one of the things he has to be very careful of, you know what, there's his dad right there. Done a great job with the defensive line.
There's Johnson getting the call and inside the 25.
One of the things I want to share with Larry Johnson, you know, as a coach, you have to make a statement to players, and as much as you want to win, you know, and Larry Johnson wants to win in the worst way, and Joe Paterno told us that. You know, I think at the same time, I don't know if this was a statement because Joe's never said this to us, but, you know, you sometimes reap what you sow there, and he didn't get a lot of playing time so far.
3rd down. And about 3. There's a nice run by Larry Johnson down near the 10 to pick up the 1st down. Well, they criticized the offense, said it was all so predictable and that Penn State just hadn't changed things in 20 or 30 years and so forth. And I know that one of Joe Paterno's reactions to that was to say, well, I'm glad to see somebody's at least upset about what's going on and cares about it.
And he's been upset. He's upset enough to make these guys miss on this last play. But and you're right. I mean, he's young. You know, he's a sophomore. He wants to win in the worst way, and this is a good lesson for him to learn. You know, that you learn and say, you know what? Let's not panic. Let's stay within framework, and things will get done.
It's 1st down, and goal to go from the 9. Johnson spins around the corner, plotted around the 4. You've got Larry Johnson at the running back. We're watching now his brother, a freshman, Tony Johnson. We've seen him play today.
That touchdown.
And Larry Sr., the defensive line coach, and they have a daughter that is on the, I believe it's the volleyball team.
Yeah, Papa, I bet you he's very proud of all his kids. He doesn't have to pay for them. All of them got scholarships, and they're all going to the same university. It's a family affair at Penn State.
Well, they're closing in here for another touchdown. 2nd down, goal from the 3. And Johnson got it in there.
There's his dad. You know you have to feel good for your son, and that's tough, man. I mean, if my son
and his brother
went through there, there's his brother. He's looking for him. His brothers clapping hands there. Penn State's just having their way with Louisiana Tech, just pushing guys off the ball. No one's coming up aggressive anymore like they were early in the game. Remember how aggressive they were now? And now they've taken the bite out of them.
If this is point after is good, it would be a 60-7 game. It's good. So Penn State on a 3-yard touchdown run by Larry Johnson has taken a 5-play, 29-yard drive at a minute 44 and grabbed a 60-7 lead over the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech.
Well, you know, I'm happy for that kid, you know, because, you know he feels bad and everything like that. I'm happy for him to get some production. You know, let's not forget, he's the guy that started this whole game off. You know, that great kick return. Let's not forget that. And even though he didn't get a lot of playing time in there until just the last minute or so, he's the guy that started the turnaround. He got the momentum back on Penn State's side when it looked like it was going to be another one of those bad games.
Well, we mentioned that there was another big crowd here today in Beaver Stadium. And you look at the average attendance of college football last year, Michigan #1, followed by Tennessee, and Penn State third, averaging 96,500, followed by Ohio State and Georgia. So the Big Ten with 3 of the top 5, and the expansion with the Cranes here will send this up to 105,000 by next season, and you got to feel they'll fill those seats.
Wow. It's like over 94,000 people here today.
It's like the 4th largest city in Pennsylvania when you put all these people in here on a Saturday. That's Fahim Ali. That's the scoring drive. 5 plays, 1:44.
Well, they got Stallworth coming out there again. I guess they're going to try to keep him out there until he can get a score. Just wonder how this works into his psyche, though.
First down and 10, 5:05, third quarter. Well, you put it on the ground. Start trying to take some time off the clock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to get out of hand. That's an understatement.
You got more than a quarter to go here, and already you're down 60-7.
When's the last time Penn State has had a large margin like this?
Akron last year was what, 70.
Yeah, I think they beat Temple. I think they had 66-14 in 1995. So there you seem definitely headed towards that direction.
It's second down. The pass complete. Flag down. The penalty marker is down. At just over 4:20 left here in the third quarter at Beaver Stadium.
Oh boy. I think that was a holding by the receiver Alan Stark out there trying to make a block on the corner. Boy, when things go bad, do they go bad. Feel for Jack. He's like, come on, give me a break. Give us a chance. But he knows the officials are doing a good job out there. You just get frustrated.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Hey, see, these officials, man, I flew in a plane with them out here to State College here, and they really schooled me a bit. They were trying to help me out a little bit as far as the calls and the new rules and all like that. So, doing a good job. I told them, I said, don't give me anything bad to say about you guys. And they have it. They made some great calls today.
Well, Jack McNeil, you know, has had a couple of penalties go against his club, but they have been kind of their own worst enemy. That pass complete.
At the start.
And they're still 2 or 3 yards shy of what they needed for the first down.
Well, you know, if you're Louisiana State, you know, pretty much this game is, I mean, unless Penn State just falls down on the back and goes to sleep, this game, they're not going to come back. But you have to look at it and try to get some good production, get some confidence in your offense for the next game.
The one thing about Stallworth, they talk about his strength. He bench presses 400 pounds, which that's quite a bit of a weight for a quarterback.
Very strong. It's amazing what athletes can do these days.
That was an incomplete pass, so there's another punt coming up here for the Bulldogs.
Boy, you feel for their defense. Their defense has been out on the field most of the game, and they're just getting mauled by Penn State's offensive line. There's Jack trying to just comfort him and say it's okay. He's just trying to keep his head in it, keep him thinking about it. He really likes Stallworth. You know, he says Stallworth is very aware of mistakes that he does and very conscientious guy.
Upton has had a tough day punting. He's had a couple of high snaps and almost up. They got it. Blocked, partially blocked and out of bounds, or no, it stayed in bounds. Danced along the sidelines and about the 42-yard line. So Penn State just camped out down in the Louisiana Tech side of the midfield.
Well, you see number 32, Brian Scott, the reserve corner, came in there this time. The first time, the other punt that was blocked, partially blocked by Omar Easy. This time by Brian Scott. He'll come from the left side of your screen. You'll see. Flash in there, just get a piece.
A rough afternoon for all phases of the game for Louisiana Tech. They got just over 3 minutes in the third quarter, and Penn State leading 60-7.
Wow, this is a situation when you have a team that's this much physically dominant, that, you know, as far as size versus a defense, the defense has been out there all day. You know, maybe just roll the dice, take some chances, and throw some more blitzes in there. Hope you can create something to get a short field for your offense.
Second down for Penn State.
There's a blitz.
And it resulted in a loss.
You need to get something to get your guys jacked up.
Avance on the tackle. A lot of reserves now in the game for Penn State.
Antonio Crow came on the backside blitz, number 17.
59, Eric Rickenbach at center. Ooh. Pass tip. Hit by Mondale Bates, 43.
Sedeka was fortunate on that one. Went right through Bates' hands. He should have had that.
Penn State today has rushed for almost 400 yards. The first two games they have 200 yards rushing today. They've had 36 in the first two games total.
Boy, that just shows you how much difference confidence plays in. It's the same team. Now, maybe Louisiana State's not quite as good as those other teams, but I don't think there's that much difference in it.
Fair catch made inside the 20. 29 yards on the punt. Cangelosi made the fair catch for Louisiana Tech.
Well, they're big. Cangelosi, he's the one that made a play for him. And they're still going to bring Stallworth back out there. I guess they're going to go all the way with him.
Yeah, with less than 2 minutes here in the third quarter, minute 45 to go. We have not seen the backup quarterback, Maxie Causey, a redshirt freshman. But they go to the ground. That's Corby Addison, 26.
See, now a guy's down. This is one of the things you worry about when you're Louisiana Tech. When you're out of the game, looks like Terrence Stikes is down there. You wonder, you know, guys start to relax. Even from Penn State side, you have to be concerned. The intensity is not quite the same. It's very tough to stay intense when it's a 60-7 score. And this is a time when people can get hurt on both sides of the ball. So guys have to try their best to keep their minds in the game, not to relax and go after it. Or not to relax too much. Penn State was too tense, but not to relax too much on the other end now.
Now Sykes, a senior, 6'5", 312 pounds.
It's been a long, long day for the Bulldogs.
And we got a whole quarter of football yet to go. We're not to the end of the third quarter yet. Minute and 36 seconds left in this quarter. Yeah, Sykes is now up. Boyd.
Sykes got bent over. This is one thing you hate. watch him at the top of screen 78. The guy falls underneath his legs. Oh, and that's one of your nightmares as an offensive lineman. I mean, I've been a defensive lineman at times, and that happens, and someone folds you over like that, and you try to fall awkwardly so it doesn't blow your knee out. That's a tough situation to be in, especially as an offensive lineman. That happens so often. He doesn't even have those big braces on his knees. Most guys have those big, thick braces sticking out, and he doesn't have one.
Second down. And just a yard short of the first down. And they're going to be tacked for a loss back at the 25, so a loss of a couple of yards. Number 99, Tim Falls, a backup at tackle, defensive tackle for Penn State. Sophomore from Damascus, Maryland.
Well, this is the time you can get a lot of your backups in there, get them a lot of confidence and experience. You never know when someone goes down. Guy might have to come up and play. Falls just a junior.
Oh, knocked down, deflected.
Derek Wake left that pass in his wake.
A freshman out of Beltsville, Maryland. Wake at 6'3". Well, Indiana in the third quarter now, a 15-point lead over North Carolina State, 35-20. Michigan in the fourth quarter pasting a shutout on Rice, leading the Owls 38-0. And Michigan State in the fourth quarter, 23rd ranked Wolverines 17-10 on Marshall. Now Dustin Upton as Stallworth and the Louisiana Tech Bulldog offense has come out. Standing at the 10-yard line, another high snap. He's had two blocked. This one he gets away. And not much of a return. A couple of yards. That'll be it. 38 seconds left in this quarter. The third quarter. 33 yards on the punt. 2 on the return.
Wow, you know, you think about Penn State this week, I'm sure this has been the big talk. You know, what's happening with the Lions? Why can't they score? You know, 36 yards rushing, 12 drop balls. All that has been talked this week, and here they are. The third quarter hasn't ended yet. And they have 60-7 lead right now.
A little bit there, not much, couple of yards.
Ricky Upton, the ball carrier.
Ricky Upton.
Ricky Upton, number 44, on that carry. Rashard Casey celebrating a great afternoon with 5 touchdowns.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, Rashard Casey, you have to feel good if you're him. I mean, you had receivers dropping everything that you throw to them, and now you have 5 touches. That looks real good for the stat book. No interceptions.
And that is the end of the third quarter.
That's it. The end of the third quarter, 60-7 Penn State. You are watching Big Ten football. More after this. Here still believe coming in today, and they should. 60 points by Penn State, and we've just completed the third quarter. We're just getting ready to go into the fourth quarter. It has been a case of complete domination over Louisiana Tech. The starters have been taken out by Joe Paterno after really less than 3 quarters to go. That was Mick Blosser, a junior from Harrisburg, number 42, that carried the ball.
You see Stallworth being comforted there once again. You know, you wonder in a quarterback's mind, you know, what they're thinking about. You have so many turnovers, and you're responsible for the vast majority of them.
Zedek at quarterback. Trying to get out around the left side, but nothing there. Was Paul Jefferson, number 39.
I see Paul Jefferson. That's a Penn State running back the way he looks. Look at the turnovers here. 6 turnovers, 4 more interceptions. 22 first downs to 6. I mean, your defense is out there all day, and I don't care what kind of defense you have, you're not going to withstand something like that. Frank Ganter, I tell you what, I enjoy talking to him. One of the most personable guys around as a coach.
And an offense out here to put 60 points up. Well, the defense did put some of that up.
Remember, he was saying they weren't playing as bad as people thought they were playing. They're just, you know, they weren't pleased. I mean, they were pleased with the effort. You know, they were pleased with guys going after it. Guys just weren't relaxing, that's all.
45 yards on the punt. We'll be back. Stay with us. Louisiana Tech with a football here on first down. Gets it up to about the 28. A pickup of 8 yards by Jefferson. Arthur Jefferson, number 21. Here's some of the fans. The students having fun with a 60-7 lead.
They said, finally, we have something to cheer about. We didn't have too much to cheer about the first 2 games, but we're happy.
You know, this game was 2 minutes and 14 seconds or so old when Louisiana Tech scored to take a 7-0 lead. And that's just what Jack McNeil had wanted to. He said he wanted to do was get out to a quick start, but
well,
you know.
I think he talked to his players about jumping out on early, but I think maybe they relaxed after that, thought that was the game, and once they jumped out.
60 points later.
You know, it just shows you how important all facets of the game are, because actually, if you think about their kicking game, is totally blown up today. I mean, it started with that kickoff coverage. And it just shows you, you know, you give any team some momentum. If they go and pin them down there deep, they're thinking and doubting themselves. Talking about Penn State, but that changed the complexion of the game.
Stallworth complete and a first down. That's James Jordan, the senior out of New Orleans. Picks up a Penn State or a Louisiana Tech first down. 17 yards on that play. Stallworth to Jordan.
Looks like Penn State has a guy down. Gerald Smith, corner there. I think he might have got caught low or got the Brett. He might be lost. Might have got his wind knocked out. That's what he looked like. He's going to either that or. I know how that feels. You feel like you're going to die, man, when someone knocks the wind out of you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
First down, Louisiana Tech.
Long day for those fellas.
And there are 12 minutes and 19 seconds left in the game. Louisiana Tech now with a first down at their 47. Nothing there.
Terrence Jefferson, the ball carrier.
Terrence Jefferson got the call.
Michael Haynes with the tackle.
Michael Haynes has been playing a good game. He's had some pressures. He's had a sack.
A junior from Columbus, New Jersey at 6'3", 255 pounds. Haynes. Defensive end. Now from the shotgun. Another interception. Oh, my. And flags down all over the field. Picked off by Bruce Branch.
There is a penalty marker on the play.
Bruce Branch Jr. out of Richmond, Virginia.
And this is what I was talking about. I don't know if this is going to help the quarterback at this point to keep getting these negative plays. I mean, he's thrown it right into guys' hands. You know, I think at this point you got to get him out of there and just hope he can come back the next game, because we're talking about 9 interceptions in 2 games.
Well, that would really deflate the confidence of the quarterback. They insisted that the 4 interceptions.
During the return, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
You have to consider something here. He's had not bad protection, but he's just, you know, it just doesn't seem, he seems like he's so confused with what the secondary is doing out there. As you see Bruce Branch make that pick. That's his 5th interception of the game. You're talking about 9 in 2 games.
Well, the coaching staff seemed very hesitant to put the backup in at this stage. He's a redshirt freshman, and but at some point, I mean.
Yeah, can he do any worse than this? I mean, they're having a turnover on almost every other series now.
That's Causey, Maxie Causey, redshirt freshman out of Monroe, Louisiana. Ricky Upton, the carrier.
And Jerome Ellis with the tackle.
They look like they're patting him there. Look like they might be getting him ready, or he looks like he's getting ready. He's behind the starter. And I would imagine you'd have to put him in there at some point. Even if he just hands the ball off for the majority of the time, you don't want the stalwart to get in there and continue to throw interceptions and not believe in himself at all.
Second down for the Nittany Lions. And they get another first down, poking the ball out near midfield. That's Upton. 9-yard gain and a first down for the Nittany Lions. 10:36 left in the ball game.
You think Stallworth is waiting for this game to get over?
I would say.
Goodness.
Long day for him. Ricky Upton picking up the yards, a redshirt freshman out of Jefferson City, Tennessee.
Nick Blosser, the ball carrier.
Well, Blosser on that carry.
You know, Louisiana Tech, you know, they're going into the WAC the next year. And you have to be very happy for their program. You know, they're a small program. They've got on the, you know, the board the last couple of years. They have Gary Crowton, who is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears, put in this high-profile passing attack, and they've continued on with Jack Bicknell, and I'm sure they're going to be a fine addition to the WAC. You know, even though they don't look like it today.
That's where they will be, the conference they'll be joining next year. Come to the point where, as an independent, Louisiana Tech just, you know, like last year, were 8-3 and didn't get a bowl bid, and had a quality win. They beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa.
Yep. You saw Alabama and Michigan in their bowl game, how that went.
Jack Bicknell's father is here today. He coaches in the European League now at Barcelona.
Well, Jack talked about his dad loves fishing. I would imagine he's trying to find a lake right about now.
There's a catch up on the 40, and that'll be enough for a first down. Casey Williams, a redshirt freshman, number 93 out of Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Nice catch there by Casey Williams, keeping his concentration. Snacker there. Things are going well. Ooh. Got lit up a little bit. Nice catch there.
8:54 left in the game. Upton to the 34.
Notice that most of these Penn State backs, big, thick guys, strong legs. Speaking of strong legs, there's Rashard Casey. Although he's not nearly as thick as the backs. I mean, you know, it's interesting about him. I mean, he has a lot of touchdown passes. He didn't do much with his legs. He hasn't done much all year with it because people boxed him in. But now, since they're getting more effective, you might start seeing some bigger plays from him now, since they've got the monkey off the back as far as the offensive game plan is concerned.
Second down now. Upton with daylight. First down. 8 yards on the carry by Upton.
And you know what? This is one of the drawbacks that you have when you're a smaller school or a smaller program than Penn State or one of the big universities that have been around since forever, it seems, that you can really get overwhelmed, and because they just have better athletes across the board, and that's what seems what's happening right now. You know, you get situations like this, and you can't tell the kids to slow down. I mean, those backup kids, you know, they want to get a touchdown. They want to get a nice block. You know, Joe's keeping it on the ground. He's not throwing it much, just trying to run the clock out and not try to totally humiliate. I mean, they already probably feel humiliated, but not try to do anything more to Louisiana Tech than they've already done.
That's at the outside the 25, about the 26-yard line. Second down, 10. Flags down. We'll check out the penalty marker. 7:05 left here in the ball game at Beaver Stadium.
Well, if you're looking at Louisiana Tech, you see they got the same receivers. The quarterback Stallworth is struggling mightily. Makes you appreciate what the job that Tim Rattay did last year. I mean, I think he was second off.
I think one of the things that does hurt Louisiana Tech is the youth on the line.
And that hurts them.
They had a lot of fifth-year players last year.
You see the young quarterback lot warming up there.
That's Maxie Causey. He's played a little bit this year, as you see. 7 out of 8. Down near the 20.
Well, Joe, looks like he still may have a chance past Bear Bryant this year. He has a tough schedule. It's not going to be easy, but he still has that chance.
This is career win number 318. With 85 losses and 3 ties over those 35 years. Third or fourth down. And they got the first down. Jefferson was Paul Jefferson, the ball carrier. Stops the clock. There you see it. Bear Bryant on top at 323. Followed by Pop Warner and Joe Paterno today. Just one victory behind moving into second place at number 319 with Pop Warner. Big win for the Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno today at Beaver Stadium. We'll be back and wrap it up for you in just a minute. Stay with us.